Good day everyone. Today on the bench I'm going to tie you up a hot spot caddis. Here's a nice little fly that it's produced for many years. You'll find them in a lot of fly shops. Probably a lot of guides will be packing these along with them. It's a good little fly. I bought, I think, my first pattern in a fly shop somewhere. It looked great, and it's proven itself time and time again. They're just a nice little bunch of them little hot butts you want to take along with you. Make sure your box you got a good selection of them because you'll need them. Okay, let's go over the materials we need to tie the fly. I'm going to start here with a Gamakatsu standard down eye hook, size 16. You go 14s or 16s on this fly. I like 16s. The butt, I'm going to use hot pink uni stretch. The body, I'm going to use some bright green peacock curl. The hackle, I'm going to use some light dun grizzly. And the wing, we're going to use an underwing of, these are CDC puffs. Barely see them in the bag. CDC puffs, they're very, very good material. Under the wing and over the wing we're going to use some very fine deer hair. Make sure it's fine textured, okay, so it doesn't flare too much. Okay, we'll get hook in the vise. We'll get started. I'm going to use some 8/0 tan thread to tie with. Okay, you can go to 14 and make it a lot easier, but I find the 16 is a really nice fly size. Dress our hook with our thread as usual. Get right to the bend here. And we'll come in with our hot pink uni stretch. Like this, it gives a really nice, just pinch that down on there. Winding the butts of it down. You're going to cover that anyway. And I'll just cut it a little longer because it's going to stretch back. It's going to pull back. Get a nice little hot butt on there. And I sure see that coming. Then I'm going to get my hackle, get it sized. It's 16. It's probably hard to find hackles down to that size, but let's see. I want to get down here where I get my smaller hackles. Size it up as best I can. I'm going to tie it, the butt at the rear, dull side forward. And when I wind it forward, it'll give me more of the dry fly. Instead versus the wet fly where it lays back. I'm going to take 2 strands of peacock curl. I want to keep his body thin. Bright green, I like the color. You can use regular peacock curl as well. And we're just going to wind this by hand. I could use my rotary vise, but I like handling the peacock curl. I get all the barbels out nice laid out like this. Leave a little space of the head there, don't go right to the front. Leave a good tie off position. So that's wound down good. And I'm just going to palmer my light dun grizzly forward. Dry fly style, that'll stand up a lot better in the water. And I don't cut, I just use the edge of my scissor to snip that off, so I'm not cutting any hackles. I'll take one of my little CDC puffs. This is really nice when it's in the water. And it's not going to lay down there too good, so what I'll do here, because I want it to lay flat on the top of the body a little more, I'm just going to trim those hackles off. And then my CDC puff will lay in there. Okay, I just got to make sure I get it caught. There it is. Tie it back. But now you see the CDC is laying back pretty good on the shank right to the end, where the butt starts. Okay, When that's in the water and wet, that looks really good. That's worth having, or pick some of those up. You'll walk by those at a fly shop many times if you don't know what CDC is all about. Start using that on some of your flies. It's really, really good. Okay, now I'm going to bring in, get a little of my deer hair. And there's another thing when you're going to shops. Always grab yourself some good deer hair. You're going to need different kinds. Some you want really nice fine hair for little jobs like this. Make sure you got good tips on it. Tips are straight. There's just no end to the types of hair, and they all have characteristics, what part of the deer it comes from, and it could be little Texas whitetails, it could be coastal deer hair. Those are nice fine hairs. Put that in our stacker. I may have a little more than I need on there, but you can always take away, but you can't add very well. Pull it out of our stacker. We should have the tips nice. Doesn't look too bad. That looks pretty good. I'm just going to hold that on top, and I'm going to tie this basically like an elk hair caddis. I'm just going to hold it on top, pinching it with my fingers, get some lots of good turns to hold it up top. And then I'm just going to come front of that, pull them back, and get some turns ahead of it to stand those butts up top. Come in here with my whip finish. Pull them back, whip finish that. A few good turns. Slice it off with my edge of my scissors. Pull the butts up to the top. Give her a little mohawk haircut like we do with our elk hair caddis. And there we go. That is a fishy little bug right there, and that will put a lot of fish in the net for you. And I'll tell you, sometimes they get fussy. Here's one you want. Hot butt caddis. I don't know the history of it right at this point. I just picked it up at the shop. I've tied them, used them for years, and I'm sure it's got a pretty illustrious history because it's a good fly, and I know a lot of guys use them. So there's one to consider. Get that on your bench, get her on the water, and see you next time, Sports Fishing on the Fly.
To watch all our latest Sport Fishing on the Fly episodes and to order Sport Fishing on the Fly merchandise, head to www.sfotf.ca. And if you would like to book an adventure like this one shown, head to ontheflyadventures.ca and book yourself the trip of a lifetime.